Okay, so we're just winging this. I tried to do it live and it didn't like it. So, needless to say, welcome to the Business G Spot podcast. And thank you to our sponsors, Tim Gillette of Simply Easy Marketing. And I'm Katrina Garcia from KG Website Designs. And if you ever need somebody in regards to help getting your website going and getting yourself more productive and making more money, by all means, give us a call for all your website needs. So today I wanted to talk about how, in regards to social media, is changing how we react to everything. And the reason why this came up is because I found an article that was in Flipboard. That's one of my favorite places to find a lot of different articles. And it was talking about, on this particular article, if we're becoming meaner as we go along. And they were stating that they thought a lot of it had to do with social media, as well as being more transactional, meaning in such that it's more about, okay, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. So I thought we would talk about, in regards to communicating, and how I think a lot of our communication is really breaking down, and we're not truly listening to not just the people in our lives, but our clients as well. And so I think the biggest thing that to talk about in regards to communication is, what is the one thing that we need to do more of and less of? And I'm sure some of you might know what this answer is, but the answer is we need to do more of this and less of this. That means listen more, talk less. So how do you do that when you're talking with somebody and you're trying to get your point across as well? Which is, it's a good question, but in a sense, we all want to be heard. So with that in mind, regarding communication, not only do we need to listen more and talk less, we also, another trick of this too, is we need to pay attention to that one person we're talking to. So in other words, we need to put up filters, like pretending like you've got walls on both sides of you and you can't see anybody else in that room but that person in front of you. And you give that person your undivided attention. And no, that doesn't mean that you talk to them about, hi, my name is George and I'm an insurance person. I can help you with A, B, C, and D. No. When you're talking to that person, you ask them about themselves. So tell me, Bob, tell me about yourself. What is it you do? Oh, that's interesting. What got you into that? Wow, that's really cool. So tell me a little bit more about your family and how you got into business and starting business in the first place. So now that person, Bob, feels listened to. They don't feel like they're being sold. They feel like they're actually being listened to, and you're paying attention to them. I mean, let's face it, we've been to meetings, we've been to networking groups where we're like, yeah, oh no, I'm listening. Go ahead. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I got to take this. This is really important. I'm so sorry. It was nice talking to you, Bob. Bye. How do you think that person feels? Do you think they felt heard? Do you think they're ever going to talk to you again? Most likely not. Not unless they absolutely have to. And maybe not even then. That's not truly listening. The other thing too, have you been to meetings where you've got that person who's talking to you and they're, yeah, no, I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah. It's good to see you. Yeah. Did you see how the Raiders play? I know. No. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm listening. Yeah. Good. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Do you feel like do they really truly feel like you're hearing them? No. Have you been talking to somebody that's like that? Yes. But that's what we need to do. That's what we need to get much better at, is listening to the people in front of us and making them aware that they're the only ones we see, the only ones that we see. And then they're important right now in front of us. And that's part of communicating. The other part of communicating is repeating back things to get clarification. For example, we'll keep using Bob because it's easy. So, Bob, you told me that your business was, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the full name. What was the full name? Oh, Blue Diamond. Oh, that's really cool. And you told me that you do insurance for life insurance and health insurance. What other insurance do? Oh, that's interesting. Long-term insurance. Do you really feel like a lot of people go for that long-term insurance? Really? Tell me more about that. Why do you think that is? Why is that so important? Do you see now? He thinks that now you're, or not thinks, but knows that you're listening to him and that you're truly paying attention to what he's saying to you. And that's what we all want. We all just want to be heard. We just want to be heard. And part of that, when I say we just want to be heard, is social media. And here's a trick too. It's something that I use all the time. See if somebody's truly listening to you while you're talking to them and they're doing this, looking around and everything. Say this. Yeah. In fact, I read on the news that some aliens took over Washington, D.C., and now they're running the country. Watch them go, yeah. Now you know they're not listening to you, or they'll say, I'm sorry, what did you say? It gets their attention. But it also makes them realize, wow, I need to listen more because this person is realizing I'm not listening. So these are key things that you can do in regards to listening to somebody and really, truly making sure that they're the only one in the room. They're the only ones you're listening to. Because like I said, everybody wants to be heard. Or have you been in that meeting or that event, or you're at a cocktail party and there's the one person and they're the only one talking and everybody is just, oh yeah, What does that mean? They're either really, really fascinating, great at jokes, whatever the case may be, and everybody's happy to just listen, or they haven't bothered to pay attention to anybody else in the room and it's all about them. And that kind of gets me into what we're going to talk about, which is, and you might agree with me or not, I believe, and this article alluded to this as well, are we becoming too individualistic? And when I say individualistic, that means, it's all about me, man. It's all about me, Katrina. All about me. Don't care about you. It's all about me. Oh, you want to work with? Well, okay, it's going to cost you money and it's going to be this much and blah, blah, blah. It's all about me. And I think in a lot of respects, we need to pay attention to this because, as I'm sure some of you have heard, there's the acronym, What's in it for me? WIIFM. What's in it for me? And that a lot of times is what your client is looking at when they look at you, when they look at your website, when they look at your social media, when they look at your video tips, when they look at anything, podcasts, anything. That's what they're looking at when they're looking at your information. They're thinking, okay, so she's going on about communication. What's in it for me? Is this going to really help me or is it not going to help me? Or, you know what? I know how to communicate. Next. So these are things that when you're communicating, not just in person, but on social media, what are you truly getting across to your audience? Or do you even care? And that is the key too, is there's a lot of businesses, as we know, that are just putting a bunch of stuff out there and just saying, just buy. They might get some people that buy, but as we all know, there are three things that people will look at before they buy from you. Whether they like you, whether you're, and whether they know you, whether they like you, and whether they trust you. And the way that they get to that trust piece is to getting to know you. The only way they're going to get to know you is if you listen to them, right? So you listen to them so that now they're getting to know you and they're thinking, wow, she's really hearing me. Because trust me, I've had clients where I thought I heard them, but I didn't hear them. And I didn't give them something that they wanted because I didn't truly listen. I used this instead of this. That was my bad. But how are you listening to your clients? Are you truly getting to know them? Once you start to get to know them, now they're going to like you because now they feel heard. And now they're like, wow, She totally heard me. She totally did everything I needed. She heard what I need. She heard what my wants were and put it into play. I love it. And now they're going to trust you. Now they trust what you have to offer. Now they trust in you because they know, like, and now they're going to trust you. And those are things that are all based on how are you communicating across? Are you truly listening to them? And we talked about, there were some key things, of course, that when we talk about listening to that one person and repeating back also and getting more information, asking them more about themselves, because that tells them that you're truly, truly listening to them and that you're repeating back just to clarify things. And also, as we all know, most issues happen with lack of communication. And most lack of communication is because we used this instead of these. So when it comes to social media, how is it that you're going to get to your clients? How are you going to even know what to put out there? How are you going to even know that they're going to look at something and say, yeah, that's truly what I need? Well, part of that is, number one, you got to be transparent and you got to take accountability for yourself in your business. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all fail. We've all failed at one time or another. That's part of life. That's part of business. But being honest about it and up front, now people feel like they can connect with you, that you're not this person way up here that's always successful. And that kind of goes along with some of the influencers. Everybody looks at the influencers and, oh, they've got this and they've got that and they're so popular and they're successful. But what they don't see is how long it took them to get there and the hardship it took them to get there. And that is part of your transparency. Show people what it was to get there. How hard was it? What your stories are. And now they're going to get to know you. They're going to start to like you. And now they're going to start to trust you. That's all part of it, especially in social media. So going back to that, is it that you communicate with your clients so that you can put out there what they need and get their needs met and make them feel like they're heard? There are a couple ways you can do this. And I mean, you can take a survey, but 9 times out of 10, you got about maybe 4, maybe 10% that are going to answer back to that. Maybe. So you'll do that, take a survey, and sometimes you get answers, sometimes you won't. Another way is you can email and say, hey, we haven't heard from you in a long time. We want to connect with you. We want to find out how you're doing. What can we do to help make your life easier today? What is it you're going through that maybe we can help you with? And no, we're not here to sell anything. We just want to know, how are you doing? And the other thing is getting on the phone, asking them, call them up, find out. Say, I haven't talked to you in a really long time, Sarah, and I just want to know, how are things going with you? Life, business, tell me, what can I do to help make your life easier? What's going on? They might say, oh man, I'm so overwhelmed. I've got so much stuff going on. Wow, really? What are you putting in place to help you get those things done better? Well, I've got a calendar, but I always override it. And I've got a written calendar. I've got an electric calendar. I've got calendars everywhere, but it's just not helping. Wow. Okay. So what is working and what isn't working? Tell me that. Maybe we can help you with that. So by getting that information and finding out, not only are they getting somebody to hear them and hear what they're going through, take your copious notes. What are the things that they're going through? And maybe some of the things that they're going through, you can help answer in a simple video tip because it's something that you can help other people with, as well as this client. So it's another way to get out there and ask your clients what it is they need. And that's by asking. And you can do that through social media. You can also do it in person, or you can do it on the phone. Like I said, I think the combination of them will help you get a lot of the information and will help you really stay connected with your clients. And you can also make these, like I said, easy video tips. You can utilize it in a podcast. Like, for instance, I had clients that come to me on a regular basis and they ask me, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, okay, I know that you do websites and so, yada, yada. But what about SEO? Seems like everybody's always interested in SEO. So by going through these things and telling them what I can help them with SEO without paying a fortune to do it, it's going to help them in the long run. And they can either take it on to their own webmaster if they're not working with us, which is fine, or they can have us help them with it. And that's part of putting out like a video tip, or maybe talking about it in a podcast if you've got a podcast, or just putting some information out there with some tips and resources. So that's another way to get out there and making your audience realize that you're listening to them and they're being heard. But a lot of people may be thinking, okay, that's great, Katrina, but I've got an ebook, I've got a book I got to get out there, I got a class I've got to make money. I can't just put a whole bunch of free shit out there. I got to make money. I can't do that by just giving them free tips everywhere. Well, you kind of can and you kind of can't, depending on how you do it. So if you do it the right way and you put that tip out there and you put the resource, you can also put an action where, let's say, going back to the SEO. Okay, I have 5 tips for an SEO. Here's an action for you. If you want to get a hold of us and find out how we can help you with that and pull that together, by all means, here's our information. Now they've got an action. Now they've got an opportunity to say, wow, she already gave me this for free. 5 great tips that, yeah, I could take it to a webmaster, but I'm the webmaster and I really don't want to do it because I don't have time to do it. And if she can do it for me and she already knows how to do it, maybe I should just give her a call. So that's another action item that you can put out there. And you might get several leads because you've given them information and you've also given them an action item to follow it. Or maybe it ties into a course you're putting out there or an event you've got going on. Hey, I know we talked about SEO and the 5 tips, but I tell you what, I've got a class that's coming up. We're going to go through all the in-depth things of what to get on your website that you can talk to your webmaster and have them get started on. You don't necessarily have to do it. If you're doing it, great. But these are key things that you can start to talk to about your webmaster, put a questionnaire together, and we're going to give you all this information in this course. If you're interested, here's the link. We'd love to see you there. Easy. But you've still given them stuff that they felt like they were listened to because it's something that they needed. So that's a way of getting your leads in and also showing that you're listening, you're truly listening to them. And that's part of being on social media, being social, letting them know you're hearing them. And I really implore this. I really do, because this is one of my pet peeves. I know you see these videos out there, and I know the news is really good at, and YouTube's really good at it, where they call the bait and hook and bait. Well, they'll say a topic and you think, ooh, that looks interesting. You go in to watch it and guess what? They haven't talked at all about that topic. They just got you in. That's all it is. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know you're trying to get people on board just to look at it, but it's deceiving. And it shows those people up front, wow, if they're going to lie about that, what else are they going to lie about just to get me hooked? I'm done. So if you're going to put anything on there that's like a title or something in regards to your video, podcast, whatever, make sure it's a title that you're actually talking about and not something that you just want to hook and bait them in and you're not saying a word about what you put that title to be. You want to be as honest and transparent as possible. And remembering too that you want to really truly listen to your clients. And like I said, everybody wants to be heard. They all want to be heard. They all want their problem solved. And you can help them with that, but you got to get it started. And that's part of what you're going to put across in social media. Now, this particular podcast today did not go live. And the reason why it didn't go live is we just couldn't get it to go live. Don't know why. It's having some issues. I guess it is what it is, but we still did it. We recorded it, and we're going to push it out to you. And hopefully you'll find this information really, really beneficial. And also, we're going to put some information down below if you want to get a hold of us. Like I said, I'm Katrina Garcia with KG Website Designs, and this is the Business G-Spot. And I certainly hope we will be live next week to get all of our little kinks worked out. And we will be hopefully live next week, next Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Mountain time, 3 o'clock Central time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. So hopefully you'll dial in and we will be live. But for now, this is a recording and I apologize we didn't go live because we had problems doing that. And see, that's part of being transparent. So hopefully you enjoyed this information. And like I said, remember, everybody wants to be heard. Just making sure that that's what you're doing and making sure that that's the person in front of you is all you're talking to. And that's all you care about by opening these and closing this. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, we'll catch you later.